The reviewer we have tonight Mary Beth Kelly. She was a Supreme Court judge. She was Wayne County Circuit Judge, and now running for. What are you running for?
So now I'm running back for the Wayne County Circuit Court, Wally.
What Wayne County Circuit Court? Which you've been there? You've been with the Supreme Court. So Mary Beth, if you could tell me what you got when you got involved in politics, for how long? What you've been doing? Probably as a judge, it's all from one court to another. So tell me more.
Sure. So I actually got interested in law and government when I was in college.
Yes.
And I had the opportunity to do an internship in Washington, D.C. for then Congressman Sandra Levin.
Yeah.
Of course, his son, Andrew Levin, holds that seat now.
Sure.
But
good people.
Really great people.
Yes.
Fantastic people,
Yes.
both of them.
Sandy and his brother,
Sandy, Carl.
Yeah, Carl.
And is doing a fantastic job. I'm really, really excited
Sure.
and know him. But in any event, so that sort of got me interested in law and government, and it was a wonderful experience. So that was when I was a junior in college, and I then made the decision. I went to U of M Dearborn and did very well there, was very, very grateful for the experience I had there. It was a wonderful experience.
Yes.
And I went then to Notre Dame's law school and loved my law school experience, my 3 glorious years, as I call it. So enjoyed Notre Dame so much. While I was at
Great
Notre
college. Great college.
Dame, it
Yes.
is. Go Irish.
Go Irish.
And at Notre Dame, I was involved as the managing editor of the Journal of Law, Ethics, and Public Policy.
Yes.
And I was also what they call an angel government scholar. So
Wow.
that was a fellowship, if you will, that focused on the journal itself.
Yes.
And really focused on law and government and ethics and how those things all circle around each other.
Okay. After that, you run. First, you run for the Wayne County Circuit Court.
I was. So
Yes.
after serving 11 years in private practice, I think it's really important that judges have
Absolutely.
some base,
Experience is very important to judge the people.
It is.
Yes.
Experience is very important. And so I practiced law with the Dickinson Wright Law Firm in Detroit, Michigan.
Yes.
And I did that for 11 years. And in May of 1999 is when I joined the Wayne County Circuit Court.
Yes.
And so just sort of a little irony, Ulysses Boykin, who's been a great judge, he is one of the 2 seats that's open now. Ulysses and I were both appointed together in 1999.
Nice.
And we started, that started my career with the Wayne County Circuit Court. So it was very early on in my Wayne County Circuit Court career that the Michigan Supreme Court chose me to be the chief judge of the court. And I served 3 terms as the chief judge of the Wayne County Circuit
Wayne
Court.
County, yes.
And significant, I think, from an inclusion standpoint, I remain the only woman in history to have ever been the chief judge of the Wayne County Circuit Court.
Yes, I read about that, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
So while I was chief judge, one of the things that was a primary focus of mine was improving the diversity of the Wayne County jury pool.
Yes.
We saw that there was a consistent underrepresentation of minorities. And so we worked very hard with the National Center for State Courts. And the National Center for State Courts made a binding final report and recommendations in August of 2006.
Yes.
And that's something that was, again, a real focus of mine. I'm very pleased to say that while I was, and I think this is interesting to your audience in particular, while I was the chief judge, I received the Arab American Leadership Award.
Great.
One of the first years that award was given out.
Yes.
And,
it's because of your involvement with the community, with understanding their culture, their issue, and deal with them. That's important.
Yes. And that's very important.
Yes.
So, some issues particularly to that community that were very special to me was if I had a foster child that was from an Islamic home,
Mm-hmm.
I would make sure that child was placed in another Islamic home.
Yes,
And
it's important.
it is very important.
Yes.
And the city of Dearborn was also, at the time, using its demolition statute
Mm-hmm.
in a way that I thought was disproportionately hitting
Yes.
the Arab American community in Dearborn.
Yes.
So I really took on that issue as well. But again, I was very, very proud and happy to be one of the first recipients of that award.
Great. And 2010, on November 2nd, you run for the Supreme Court, the highest court in Michigan, the Michigan Supreme Court. So tell me about the election of that time.
Yeah, so that was a very exciting election, the 2010 Supreme Court election. That was really at a time when lawyers and even citizens alike knew that our Michigan Supreme Court was very divisive. And, one side wouldn't talk to the other side.
Uh-huh.
So I was asked to run, and I think it was the thought that I could bring civility to the bench. That was one of my primary objectives. And also I could bring some experience from the trial court level in dealing with family matters in particular. And I think that was sort of a niche on the Supreme Court that was lacking.
Yes,
So,
and you brought the peace between the judges of the Supreme Court.
I think I helped bring the peace. I do think that.
Yeah.
And I also think that I helped elevate child custody, child welfare cases, juvenile justice cases to Supreme Court consideration. And I actually then became very involved with the juvenile justice causes. So, as an example, I was the chairperson of the Michigan Committee on Juvenile Justice for 4 years.
That's great.
And we sought some real important changes in the way young people are treated in our juvenile justice system. And that's something that I remain very involved in and very interested in.
Yes.
So that's, juvenile justice has been a big focus of mine on both when I was on the Supreme Court as well as when I was on the circuit court the first time around.
Yes.
I did leave the Supreme Court in 2015, and I returned to private practice.
Yes.
I'm with JAMS, which is Judicial Arbitration and Mediation Services.
Yes.
It's really a global provider
Uh-huh.
of alternative dispute resolution. But in addition, for the last 2.5 years, I've been a visiting judge on the Wayne County Circuit Court and particularly focused on clearing out a backlog of cases in the family division.
Yes.
So I've been doing that in addition to my arbitration. And, the court system in general, fascinates me. I really, really enjoyed my time on the Supreme Court, but I also felt like I had achieved the objectives that I set out to achieve.
Yes.
And really being in a trial court where you're involved on a, day-to-day basis of running a docket, and you have people coming in with everyday problems. And I felt really like I could make more of an impact there. And sitting as a visiting judge really confirms that I think I can make a big difference, just in the way that I administer the courtroom.
And now you are running for the Wayne County Circuit Court, which is you were there before, and you understand all the issue and you have all the experience.
Right. So I'm really running on a platform of 3 pillars, and one is experience, like we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The second is my commitment to equal justice, and I think that's really been a demonstrated commitment that I've shown through trying to improve the racial diversity of the jury pools, for example. Really understanding that, different communities have different challenges.
Yes.
And the legal system has to be accessible to everyone. So I've made that one of my really strong points of the campaign is trying to let people know the work that I've done in recognizing, for example, that there is a disproportionate number of minorities in our adult criminal system, as well as our juvenile criminal system. So that's been, again, the second pillar is this commitment to equal justice. That also includes the kind of access to justice issues we have with our pro se litigants not being able to access the courts either because they can't afford a lawyer or because it's just too difficult for them. So we have some real outreach programs that have really changed in, I'd say, the last 10 years or so. There's really been much more of a focus on trying to help individuals through the court system. And then the third pillar of my campaign is my independence. So, I think it's the third branch of government is not political. It's nonpartisan.
Yes. So you're not running as a Republican or Democrat?
No, I'm not running as either a Republican or a Democrat.
Great.
I'm very independent.
Yes, that's very important.
It's very important to our judiciary. And in the last couple of years, this issue of judicial independence has gotten much more attention, if you will. So our United States Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts started talking about judicial independence a couple years ago. And indicating just how incredibly important it is that our judicial system remain nonpartisan. Being nonpartisan, though, I have to say on the ballot, for example, voters have to flip the ballot. We keep, if judges who have to run, we have to remind them, you have to flip the ballot because even if you vote straight ticket, for example, that's not going to, you have not yet cast a vote for a judge.
Sure, we're going to come to that, But tell me, Mary Beth, I look at Wayne County, it's multi-ethnic minorities. We have the African American, we have the Arab American, we have the Latino American, and those people have different culture, different custom. I know you've been involved a lot with the Middle Eastern community, understanding the culture, understanding how the family value, even the way they dress, even the way they talk. And that's very important for a judge. Are you doing the same thing with the other ethnic minorities in Wayne County? Yes. And you bring up such an important point. So, these ethnic minorities that we have in Wayne County, when they come to court, they really are just interested in their particular case. They don't care about the case that came before or the case that came afterwards. And you really have to understand that these cultures are very different. And so, and that difference can impact, the way that, I'm just going to give you an example. We've seen, for example, if an Arab American couple gets divorced, sometimes one of the parties will refuse to dissolve the Islamic divorce. And that becomes a huge problem. And some judges just say, well, the separation of church and state, I don't have the authority to dissolve that Islamic marriage. And there's other judges that say, wait a second, as a cultural issue, this is incredibly important. And this person is not really divorced until that Islamic divorce has been dissolved. So you need to include that in the judgment of divorce. And again, that's been an issue that you really have to look at different cultures and take into account that culture may bring specific issues to a particular action. And that the other people like the Indian, the African American, the Latino have their different culture too. The way they dress, the way they talk, the way they're dealing with the family. So a judge like you, who's got that many years of experience, that could make a huge difference to them. Yeah, well, that's kind of you to say, Wally. I think that it does. I mean, I certainly try to give every litigant that comes before me the most respect and the fairest sense of an experience in the courtroom. And I think that litigants can tell that. Litigants know if a judge
is taken seriously,
Yes.
is being respectful, is prepared. And attorneys know that as well. And, a lot of attorneys, they'll see who they drew for a judge and they may say, oh, this is great. Or they may say, oh, no.
Yes.
That happens.
Absolutely. And that passed the word, to the citizen of Wayne County, too.
Yeah.
So if I am a citizen of Wayne County, you have opponent, right? How many people are running for the position?
Oh, yeah. I do have an opponent. So
yes.
there's 4 people running and
yes.
there's 2 positions. So
two
the
positions.
voters will elect 2 of us.
Excellent. If I am a citizen of Wayne County, why should I vote for Mary Beth Kelly? Why? What's the difference? What the issue that you highlight for me to vote for you?
So I would really highlight, as I said, the 3 pillars that I talked about.
Yes.
Experience,
Uh-huh.
equal commitment to justice for all, and independence. Because you don't want a judge who you don't know what's going to happen, for example.
Yes.
You want a judge with a proven track record.
Uh-huh.
And I think I certainly have that.
Yes.
And I have a track record of being, as I say, I'm not obviously experienced, but I have a really proven track record of
yes.
this dedication to equal justice for all and my independence.
Yes.
The other thing that citizens can use as a sort of benchmark, if you will,
yes.
when evaluating judicial candidates,
okay.
is that there are some organizations that endorse specific candidates.
Yes.
I want to.
Can you bring some of those who endorse you?
Sure. So the Detroit Bar Association, for example, for decades has been a body that always rates judicial candidates.
Yes.
And they gave me a rating of outstanding, which is the highest rating
Great.
that you can get.
Uh-huh.
Now there was one other person in my race, Chandra Baker, who also received that highest rating.
I see.
The other 2 candidates did not.
Okay.
And then likewise, the Wolverine Bar Association, which is an organization that primarily supports minority issues within the legal practice.
Yes.
So they also gave me their highest rating, and that was extremely well qualified. Again, Chandra Baker got the same endorsement from them, and the other 2 candidates did not.
They did.
But I also would encourage candidates to go to my website. So I have a website.
Yes.
It's Mary Beth Kelly 4, and the word 4 is spelled out. So marybethkelly4judge.com.
Okay.
And you can see some of these, you could see some interviews like we're doing today.
Yes.
You could see these endorsements. I was also, for example, Detroit Business Magazine typically ranks lawyers. And this year, for the second straight year, I was ranked one of the top 10 women lawyers in Michigan.
Great accomplishment.
And the Free Press has endorsed me
yes.
As well. And they've given, they didn't say that they endorsed me, but gave specific reasons why. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you just go online and open up to the Free Press page, scroll down to opinion, you'll see the pictures of the judges that they've endorsed and their endorsement article. So I encourage voters to do that as well. But you're absolutely right. Voters should educate themselves on
yes.
who these candidates are.
I might add to that, you understand all the culture and the issue of many ethnic minority in Wayne County, and that's very important to every ethnic minority.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It absolutely is. And,
yes.
Wayne County is clearly one of the most diverse legal systems in the country. It's also one of the biggest
yes.
judicial systems in the country. So, we have some 48 lawyers,
yes.
and it's a big system, but there's no question it's also one of the most diverse.
Sure. Mary Beth, give me a message to the Middle Eastern community. Of course, we broadcast, and we're going to put this in interview nationwide in every state of the nation. But give me a message to the Wayne County citizen, and the Middle Eastern community in that county. What do you want from him?
So, the Middle Eastern community in Wayne County has been tremendously successful.
Yes.
In government, in our court system. We have many judges now that have been elected to the bench from that community, and they're so active, they're so proactive, they're so involved, and it's really a great testament as to, how community involvement can really elevate persons within that community in a very short time and in very meaningful ways. There's more support among that community for each other than many other communities.
Absolutely.
And I think it's the support, some of the cultural issues of, families living together is very strong. It promotes a strong value to the family, and that's a really significant issue.
Good. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
A person like you with all this experience, I'm pretty sure that you're going to win. If you say for a minute, dear viewer, on November 3rd, please go vote and vote and vote. And remember, the local issue is very important to us. If it's a state senator, if a congressman, if it's a judge, if it's a city council, please go all the way to the bar and go to see the judges. And when you go to Wayne County Circuit Court, remember, there's 4 people, but there's one person who understands your culture, who's been with you for a long time. And herself, she have a huge experience, if it's in the Supreme Court or Wayne County Circuit Court. So please remember that and vote for Mary Beth Kelly, because she is the one who represent us, who understand our culture, and have many, many connections with the Middle Eastern community, if it's individual or organization. Again, go and vote, and make sure you go to the bottom. And when you go, if you are in Wayne County, go to the Circuit Court and vote for Mary Beth Kelly. Thanks for watching, and good night.